to another exciting episode of State of the Nation right here on your favorite 24 News TV. My name is Ruth Ugu, and today we have a very special guest joining us, the President of the Nigerian Youth Congress. And today we are discussing, of course, looking critically into the affairs of young people in Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Blessing Akinlosotu.
Yeah,
All right, thank you very much for joining,
that's all.
Mr. Blessing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go straight into it. Tell us what it is like to lead young people at a time when it looks like the state of the nation is a bit shaky.
Thank you very much. Like you also a young person.
Yes.
It's not easy to lead a peer group, even in the family.
Mm-hmm.
You will agree with me that it's a very peculiar task, but we thank God we are trying our best, and we are trying to reshape the system so that young people can understand that they are the leader of today, not tomorrow.
What is Nigerian Youth Congress about? What is your stand? What is it about?
Nigeria Youth Congress is a youth organization in the country. It came
Okay.
into establishment in 2016 by by the president to the then Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalong, who gave the final approval for its establishment. And our major aim is we agree with me that coming together of young people,
Mm-hmm.
if there's no platform, it will be very difficult for us to be highly coordinated. And the systems that we are today, young people need to be coordinated.
Okay.
We need to be organized so that even if we have agitations or issues we want to let the government know, both private and international community to know, it should be through that platform. So it is a platform that is there for the coordinations of young people all around the country. So, and the structure is spread all over the country. We have the national executives, which is headed by myself. We also have state chapters, which is headed by chairman in the 36 states, including FCT. We also have local government chapters,
Okay.
branches also, which is headed by a coordinator. So even to the downward level.
Right.
So it's a big structure. It is not a blessing structure. It's a structure of the Nigerian youth. As
Mm-hmm.
far as you are youth of this country, you are entitled to the Nigerian Youth Congress and you are automatic member.
There are people who believe that the NYSC is affiliated with a particular political party.
No, like you read, no, it is an NGO and
Okay.
it's purely a political. But because why reason the people say it's affiliated to a particular political party is an assumptions that it is a platform that is here to work very closely with the government of the day, not as if to be working like a puppet, but to complement what they are doing, to suggest to send some very laudable solutions to some of the economic challenges and problems, to also let them understand that we are young people that need more attention and what is needed should also be presented to them. So purely we are not working for any political party.
Right.
We are working with all the political structure, both APC, PDP. If you agree with me, even we started the inaugurations of the structure in most of the PDP states.
Right.
At a point, some people thought that we are PDP appendage,
Hmm.
but it is clear now that activities are coming up, different states are being set up. So it really shows that not for any political party, but for the youth of this country, so that they can access so many benefits from the government.
You said that the NYSC is there to give government opinions on subjects, and I assume that these subjects relate to young people. So far, have you been able to influence any government's decision as regards to young
A
people?
lot have been influenced, a lot and a lot have been influenced. Young people just need to say, if you don't talk, nobody will hear about what you are passing through.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that our agitations start from sensitizations. Let's
Mhm.
sensitize the young people first. Let them understand that banditry, kidnappings, armed robbery, all these
Right.
things are not the best for this nation. Succession plan that's been agitated by so many people, we are also there to sensitize them, to let them know that Nigeria is bonded with one nation and we
Right.
should be able to remain there. We are also there to also let the government know that the young people need more empowerment program. They need more development. They need so many things. So those agitation and sensitization and requests are manifested into so many things that have been cropping up from the federal government. You will agree with me that last year Buhari launched Nigeria Youth Investment Fund, which is
Mm-hmm.
part of the agitation of young people that they really want to be part of the government. They want the support of the government. And not only that, through the office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President, which we are operating now, also launched Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme,
Okay.
1,000 per each local government. Is a huge number
It
that
is.
will also be dispatched so many laudable initiative empowerment to the young people of this country. So some of all these things have been cropping on into so many things. We have been agitating for our member
Okay.
to be given a political appointment, that is political inclusions. We have agitated for so many people to get so many benefits from government, from private sector, and everything is yielding positive result. So I can categorically tell you that so many of our agitations have been working fine, and we strongly believe that it is not enough because the bulk of young people we have is about 75% of over 200 million. You know, it's a large number.
Yeah.
So we continue to keep pressing for more and more and more young people in this country.
Mr. Blessing, there are lots of Nigerian people, especially young people, who believe that the current administration is against Nigerian youths. Do you agree with that narrative?
That is the perceptions. You know, like I said, sometimes when you are not close to the systems, you will have perceptions that the government is against. The basis of which saying the government is against it because of the level of information that is already at their disposal. Every government cannot be perfect. Be
Okay.
you APC, be you PDP government,
Mm.
but the fact remains that no government will be against the most lucrative assets of the nation. And the most lucrative assets of this nation is young people. We are talking about 70 to 75% of the population. So if
Yes,
any
that is
government is
correct.
against that, then the government know that it has already finished its own activities and its tenure is running up. The truth of the matter is that we need more information. The young people should have access to information that can give them so many laudable initiatives that the government are engaging on. You know, like I said earlier, if you are not aware about what is going on,
Mm-hmm.
your mindset will tell you that the government is doing nothing. Even
Interesting.
in private places also, there are so many laudable things that is coming up from so many foundations, international organizations and the rest. But if young people is not access to this information, definitely there is no way to go.
Yeah.
They won't be aware and they won't also know that those things can benefit themselves, can benefit their business, and it can leave them from poverty. So the fact remains that we should focus our attention on sensitizing young people to let them know the basic opportunities that are life flow in government so that they can be able to grab it for the betterment of their life.
There is something people are talking about more often these days. They call it a plan B. And if you will agree with me, it looks like Nigeria has lost a lot of resourceful men and women, especially young people, to countries like Canada, countries like UK, and even Ghana and Kenya. Nigerian is losing young, resourceful people to this thing that we have started calling a plan B. Tell me what you think about that.
I think I will agree with you that everybody is talking about plan B. What brought about plan B is the system that is no more working as we so expected.
Okay. So you
And
agree that the system is not working?
yes, everybody will agree that the system is no more working. That's why you see agitation everywhere.
Right.
The issue of Boko Haram, the issue of insecurity in the southeast, hip hop groups, so many things kidnapping. So there are some crack in the system that needed to be fixed. The aspect of infrastructural development for many years in this country, it has always been a business as usual. There's no infrastructure, there's no railway line, there's no road, there's no good facilities, electricity is not there. All these are social amenities that young people need to develop.
Okay.
If you don't have all this, definitely how do you want to develop? Like the last interview I granted, I cite an example of somebody that just wants to start a barbing shop
Mm-hmm.
in front of his house. If you don't have electricity, what do you want to do? Or if assuming you have the money to even buy a clipper, what about electricity?
Right.
And
Right.
look at so many other initiatives that young people have. Some of them are into electricians. When all these powers are not there,
Right.
it will definitely reduce. And that second plan B that people are agitating for is because of lack of social amenities. if everything is working in this country, you won't want to leave your father's house and say you want to go and be refugee in UK, in London, in America. Nobody want to do that. But because they realize that staying here there is no hope, they are hopeless. So that is why we are also calling on the government to increase their work ability on the young people, because that is the asset this country have. Why is it possible for a young Nigeria who struggle to have a third class in a university in this country, now go for master's degree in the UK, in Russia, in all this country, and they are making first class there? So it really tells you that with little social amenities, people can strive with a whole
Right.
lot of potential within them. But if all these things are not there, people will want to seek refuge elsewhere. But we will still be calling on the government to make all this thing work. If the roads are good, if infrastructure is there, if electricity is functioning,
Right.
if the economy is booming well, nobody will want to go. Look at the aspect of our industry. Most of it are dead. So there is no job anywhere. Even the white collar, the black collar, every job is already going down. Inflation rate is increasing by the day because the economy is not producing. We are just consuming. So
Right.
these are initiatives that we have packed together, and we bring it up in some of our programs to let the government know that there must be a need to start rejigging the system so that they can be able to fix this country.
Okay, recently young people have decided to go about the way of expressing themselves. And this way of expression has gone into social media agitation, and in fact, young people have taken to the streets to protest. And shortly after this break, we're talking to a very special guest, and then we'll get his opinion on this subject. Stay with us.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are new, we are news, we are 24 News TV.
Alright, welcome back to State of the Nation on 24 News TV. My name is Ruth Ugu. Today we are discussing the affairs of Nigerian youths, and joining us today for this very special episode is Blessing Akinlosotu, who is the president of the Nigerian Youth Congress. Thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so before the break, we talked about Nigerian youths expressing themselves these days through social media and through protests. I mean, we've seen protests like the NSAS protest. There was a June 12th protest. What do you think about that as a way to express dissatisfaction?
Yeah, like in every country, in every modern world, Western world, the only avenue where you can express your dissatisfaction with the system is via protest, which
Okay.
is your legitimate and fundamental right. The fact remains that young people are protesting is to tell you that there's something that is not really going on well in the country, and it is their right to express that which is for which they have the legitimate fundamental right to do. But the truth of the matter is that I have always been advocating for a dialogue instead of coming out to
Right.
protest every time. Some of us have experienced a whole lot of protests in this country. We realize that protests can continue to be protests if proper dialogue and understanding of roundtable discussion is not put into consideration. The yielded result will likely not come up.
Do you
Take
think?
for
What do you think about how? I'm sorry about that, but what do you think about the way Nigerian government seem to be reacting to these protests?
It-
There
it
seems to be
is-
a reaction.
It is not proper.
Okay.
Every citizen has the legitimate right to protest, and we cannot deny them that right, because that is the only right they are left with.
Right.
They voted people in power, and they also have the right to express their grievances to do such a government that this thing is not going appropriate well. So we only employ the police. Most times, why I don't want to blame the government is that in a professional country, in a Western world, you cannot be blaming government when we have security agents who are supposed to do their legitimate duty.
Okay.
Their legitimate duty is to coordinate protester, is to protect them from heavy hoodlums, protect them during, before, and after the protest. So if we are calling on the government and reacting, What is the work of the police?
You know, there are people who are not differentiating the actions of, you know, armed bearers with, I mean, the police and the military with the situation of. They believe that the police is working hand in hand with
Yes,
the
that
government.
is where we got it wrong.
Okay.
Extremely wrong.
You think the police is
Something
acting
is
on their own?
fundamentally wrong with our system.
Okay.
You know, I made mention of system the other time. The system I mean is that if a normal system is working, police has a duty by law
Okay.
to do some certain things. You cannot tell me because I am a governor today in a state, I should be dictating for police what to do. The police is supposed to be the defender of the masses, of every citizens of that country,
Okay.
not of the political class. That's where we
Interesting.
got it wrong. So if we are shifting the blame, let us properly shift
Channel
the
it,
blame
okay.
on the appropriate authority, which is the police. So if the police now has something within their cupboard that say, okay, oh, it is now a politician that is controlling me, let
Right.
us hear from the police. So we shouldn't shift blame on the politician, but because they are the last end of the matter, let us tell our Nigerian police that they are not professional enough. And if they are not professional enough, they should go to the Western world and learn policing. Yeah, that's the truth.
Okay.
They should do their duty according to law. Law has empowered them to do some certain things. So we should not be putting it on assumption that it is a governor that is instigating the police, or it is a minister or a president that is instigating the police. No, let the police do what they are properly brought together to come and do, not trying to shift blame on politicians, so that when the police now have a difficulty, why can't they come out? That say, okay, it is a governor that is now controlling me. Is governor supposed to be controlling police? No, because they are supposed to do their work according to law. So to me personally, I don't want to shift blame on anybody. Let us go to the appropriate authority that has the blame, and let us give them to blame. Let the police be professional in their job. If protester is going on about a lawful protest, there's no harm carried, there's no ammunition in their hand, why can't you protect them? Are you supposed to be shooting a protester? Which is no.
Yeah.
So if the government said they don't want the protester to come up, let the police now explain to the citizen that it is the government that said they don't want a protest. So let's not shift blame here. Let us blame the Nigerian police. Let the Nigerian police be professional enough to
Okay.
conduct themselves according to the law of the land.
Has the NYSC participated in any protests so far? Is that something they plan to do?
You know, protests can come in different form. Like I do tell people, most time it is not when you come out and started shouting that that is the only protest. You know, several protests are coming up. People can express their like where we are today. We can address press to explain to the country that no, these certain things are wrong. Fundamental, these things are not proper. So it's also a form of protest.
Of course.
We don't need to. All of us don't need to be on the street. Protest can also come in form of writing to the appropriate authority what is not proper and explaining to them what should be done so that we can be able to get the country fixed. So we have shown our grievances in so many areas. Some of our members joined the NSAS protest, but at a point where there is no coordination, some of us pull out because in every legitimate protest, there must be a control.
Right.
There must be because hoodlums will hijack it, and when they hijack it, nobody should. If you are part of it, definitely you are. Everything that happens there, you are responsible, and that is exactly what happened in Lagos. People have started burning property, burning housing, looting economy, day-to-day life of so many people. Businesses are being vandalized. So it tells you that when they lack coordination, there is a problem, and that is why I'm telling young people that if you want to make your protest known, inform the police
Right.
officially, inform the press,
Okay.
inform all the appropriate authority, and if possible, do it in a manner by which they will know. Many people protested to the National Assembly. There has never been any conflict between them and the police. But the only area that we are not accepting, and which we as a young people must not accept, is that in this country we are ruled by law. You know, some people will now be tagging protests to come and be an opposition agitation, which is wrong.
Okay.
Like take for instance, some people that are using descriptions of Buhari must go.
Right.
That is not what we stand for. Because in this country, we are aware that we are running a constitutional government whereby any leader that is being elected is to run for 4 years. If I am not interested in you, I will go back and file my voter's card, wait for you in the next election, and throw you out.
Okay.
We have a process. So somebody should not bring anarchy into a legitimate protest and spoil it. Buhari must go. Is not part of a protest at all, because there is no definitions of objectivity here.
Right.
The man has been elected. The people of the country elected him for 4 years. So let him finish his 4 years. If we are not okay with the government of Buhari and the APC, let us as a young people coordinate ourselves.
Okay.
Bring up our voters card, vote them out, but not at the mid of 4 years. Some people are now bringing political insinuation into being, trying to say because we have opposed a man, we ran against him, we didn't want him to excel, we must be able to push him out of power. Push him out of power to where? That is anarchy, because that is not what the law says. So if you see any protesting individual that is not using such an inscription, coming out to protest on insecurity is legitimate. We all know that insecurity is everywhere.
Okay.
Coming out to protest against the economy that is not properly okay is legitimate. Coming out to protest against social amenities like road infrastructure is legitimate. But coming out to tag a protest in a political coloration is something some of us and majority of the young people of this country say no to.
Okay.
Because we are running a constitutional government.
Mr. Blessing, just before we let you go, Twitter ban. The Nigerian government announced Twitter ban. And a lot of people believe, especially young people, believe that the Nigerian government is trying to shut young people up. Tell me, do you think the Nigerian government was right to ban the use of Twitter?
The truth of the matter is that the aspect of ban, I think, is temporal.
Okay.
There may be issue between the government and the Twitter owners in one way or the other, but that shouldn't affect the citizens. Some of us has raised our voice that ban should outrightly be condemned. Banning Twitter is not to the benefit of anybody.
Okay.
We have so many young people in this country that is doing their day-to-day activities on Twitter. Some of them are even doing their businesses, legitimate business.
Right.
And you will agree with me that there is no job anywhere. That opportunity platform that is there has brought so many meals to the table of some family in this country. And I think what the government need to do is not outright banned. It should be a kind of a regulation, like it happens everywhere all over the world. Because the way fake news is going on and on and on, not only in this country. If care is not taken, we can set the country on fire. And that is the reason, maybe that is part of the reason the government are trying to bring to the table that there should be a regulation.
Okay.
That's because according to what the government said, it says some of the people that are agitating for secessionists, which is the likes of Nnamdi Kanu from the southeast and so many other people, most of their promotional items on Twitter are not being removed. Why is it that when the governor, the president want to make some statement, it's now being removed? I think it's a conflict.
Okay.
That's there on the table to dialogue. But the truth of the matter is that the Twitter ban is just for a temporary time. They must work out modality of how to regulate all these news media. Like you agree with me also that your agency, which is a third world, the media, they also have a regulation under the Federal Ministry of Information. So because if we don't control most of all this thing that is going on, definitely we can set the country on fire. So that is exactly why on both sides, government must listen to the yearnings of the people to understand that Twitter is adding value. Not only Twitter, Facebook and so many, Instagram, there are so many. So, but we cannot, because we want freedom of speech, and set the country on fire.
Right.
Because if fake news portray much and much and much, it can lead to anarchy in the country.
Of course. All right. Lastly, before we let you go, what is it that you would want to say to Nigerian youths at a time like this, when the nation is facing insecurity, unemployment? Nigerian economy looks like it keeps derogating day by day, and it looks like it affects young people the most. As the president of the Nigerian Youth Congress, what is your message to young people?
There is hope. like I do say, when there is no way, you must be able to find a way out. The truth of the matter is that the economy is very hard. Things are not functioning well. A whole lot of young people are jobless. Unemployment is on the rise, and insecurity is everywhere. And I will only appeal to young people to believe in one thing: when there is life, there is hope. The issue of kidnapping, banditry, Boko Haram, insecurity everywhere, they are being perpetrated by young people. Let's not set the country on fire. This older generation has done their best. If their best is not properly enough for us, let us come together, coordinate ourselves, bring ourselves together, conscientize ourselves, sensitize the majority of our members, and let them know that why can't we hijack this power? And if we should hijack the power, there's opportunity for us.
Right.
Everybody should go and register to vote.
Okay.
Because if one government I put on board is not functioning well, as far as I'm concerned, it is my legitimate right to plan the plan B of how to remove him, not a plan B to run away from this country. Because if you run away from this country, the generation coming will ask you, where are you when the country is rotting?
Right.
Let us be a solution-based youth.
Okay.
Let us come together, dialogue, critique the problem, brought out one or two issues that can complement what the leaders are doing, and if we understand that there are solutions to be provided, let's provide it to them, so that we can develop this country together.
All right, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
That was Mr. Blessing Akinlosotu, who is the president of the Nigerian Youth Congress. And today he sat down with us and we talked about Nigerian economy, we talked about insecurity, we talked about Twitter ban and a protest as a way of expressing ideas and dissatisfactions about activities that are going on in the country. Once again, we want to say a huge thank you to a very special guest. My name is Ruth Ugu, and this is 24 News TV, and thank you for watching.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are new, we are news, we are 24 News TV.